how to drive, but this is certainly a car. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to realize what's up with me today, huh? What's different, huh? What's different? Don't look at my shoulders. Don't look at the linings on my shirt. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to figure out what's different. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. My shirt is inside out. If you didn't get that, you're kind of stupid. I love you either way. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Just trying to be goofy. But, yeah, my shirt is inside out today because I was filming something and I needed a whole black shirt. The other side is just Pennywise. So, but that has absolutely nothing to do with the post I just made a few minutes ago. And has absolutely nothing to do with Goosebumps, even though I just announced that on my post that I made a few hours ago. Not the same one. Well, yeah, that's something to do with Goosebump, but you won't be able to see it quite yet. And if you're a very, 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 very keen eye, you might be able to recognize something, and you might guess it instantaneously. But anyways, Haunted Car. A very interesting book, to say the least. A very interesting concept, and yeah, that's what we're gonna review today. So without further ado, we're just gonna get straight into it. Hooray! They see me rolling, they hate it. Let's read the blurb now, everybody. Let's read the blurb. I tried to do some homework, but I kept jumping up and going to my bedroom window to peer down at the car. A street light made the chrome bumper sparkle, a sleek blue body glow. I couldn't resist. I had to sit in the car. Is this bro sexually attracted to cars? Fuck. Just like TLC, that one guy. Anyways, holding my breath, I crept down the stairs and out the front door. Man, very quick. Straight to the point. When I write books, you know, whatever. I stepped around the driver's side of the car and grabbed the handle. Go ahead, a voice whispered. Climbing. Aussie fan reference. If you get this, you're good. What's up, everybody? Yeah, if you got that reference, you're a legend, and I want to suck you. But yeah, that is the blurb, and as we usually do, I want to say that the book was pretty damn good. Most of this, no, I must say, most of the Series 2000 books really hit, and they hit in good ways. They did all the good spots. Ooh. But yeah. I mean, I have a whole stack of Series 2000 books. I don't have them all, but from what I've read, none of them have been really terrible. But I hear that there are some barely bad ones, like Return to Ghost Camp, which I am just not excited to read when I get my hands on it. But there are some really good ones that I have read. For example, one of the best Goosebumps books ever, Attack of the Graveyard Ghouls, extremely well written, with amazing cover art, which I want to mention real quick before we even get into anything else. The cover art for this is also pretty damn good. Yeah, there's nothing really much to say about it besides it's a haunted car, it looks cool, and, Jesus Christ, it kind of looks stupid a little bit. Anyways, but it's very well detailed. But, yeah, that's basically all I wanted to say about this cover. Now, for the actual book itself, let's get into the upsides! The hooray! Upsides. Hooray! Let's get into it. What are some of the upsides of the haunted car? Well, first of all, I think it's the ghost. The ghost plot and stuff. The ghost that lives in the car. It's a spoiler review. Duh, as it always says in the title. Classic. Spoilers. Duh. I've always, it's always gonna say in the title if you guys aren't aware of that. Every single book review ever from now on is just gonna say in the title because it's been like that for months now. But, I really liked the ghost stuff with the car. Now, the car itself wasn't exactly haunted, but there was actually a ghost haunting it. I mean, that's not exactly, well, okay. The cover implies that the car is alive, but not really. The ghost, there's a ghost that lives in the car, so the car is actually haunted for once. It's not one of those cases where, oh, it's haunted, where it's actually just alive, where it's called the haunted mask, but there's no spirit attached, it's just alive. Which is somewhat misleading, because the definition of haunted is commonly, from what I know, means there's a ghost attached to it, or if you bring this in your house, you're gonna get haunted, because it has something to do with it. The ghost has some business. But, yeah, this is actually one of the cases where the thing actually is haunted, and it's not one of those titles like, the haunted fart. Oh, shit, man. I wish it was a shit. Anyways. Because now I can get rid of it. That rhymed. But, yeah, haunted car. It's actually haunted, which is something I'm really happy about. But the ghost itself is pretty awesome. I liked all the stuff that they did with it, and I think there was a little bit of backstory somewhere in there, which is pretty nice. Another upside is the characters. Usually, for most of the Goosebumps books, the characters are pretty solid, but I think they were a little exceptional here. I did like them. From the little bar I read, it sounded like they were sexually attracted to cars, which would be interesting to see that. It's like some TLSC bullshit, like someone's attracted to their anime pillow. I am attracted to my Slappy body pillow, which you cannot see because it does not exist, because my Slappy body pillow is Slappy. But, yeah, Slappy's my waifu. Anyways, I do like the characters in this book. I think they were decently well written for once. Some of the characters usually aren't. But, yeah. It seems pretty 2000-y, since a lot of people really like cars back then, and they still do a lot nowadays. I'm not one of those people who cares about cars too much. I think, like, okay, a car's a car, dude, chill. I mean, I get it. Some cars do cool stuff, but, chill. So, yeah, that's kind of the stuff that goes on in this book. But, I did like some other stuff, such as the creepiness. I felt like this book did exceptionally well on the creepy factor. There's some creepy moments in this book. For example, when the car was driving by itself, of course, near the end, I think. It was really fun seeing that little part. And I think there was some nightmare sequences, but I might be stupid. I can't really recall. It's been a little minute. It's been a hot minute since I read this book. But, I mean, I still remember opinions because I did write them down. Because if you guys aren't aware, I sometimes write down my opinions on books so I don't forget a little later. Which I actually should start doing more often, because I only did it for this book, and, like, I think Night of the Oh, sorry, it's not Slappy, because I fucking hate that book. But, yeah. Overall, they did really good on the scares. There were some decent ones in there. Really liked the car scene, where it was driving around without her driving. And I liked when the ghost always chimed in and started talking, like, on the back here it says, I grabbed the handle. Go ahead, a voice whispered. Climb in. So, yeah. Overall, well-written scares, and now, without further ado, let's get into the downsides of the book, man. There's not many, but there's one, and I want to point it out, okay? Let's get into it! The people who bought the car are fucking idiots. And the people who sold the car are fucking idiots. That's the downside. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I think the car battery was missing in there, so... Why the fuck did you sell a car with a missing battery? That's the major downside of the book. It doesn't take away from the story itself, it's just really fucking nabbing at me. I heard someone mention this not too long ago, that the car battery in the book was actually missing. And like, wait, so they sold this? Even though they knew it was missing. Did they not check the cars? I'm done with this book. Man. Anyways. For real though, downsides. I felt like at some parts the car was kind of overused. I mean, this is something that's always very occurring in Goosebumps books, because Night of the Squawker, I know, you don't want to hear any more about it. Just like how you don't want to hear any more Chicken and Son of Slappy, and just ever so rarely Attack the Jag, because I don't really like that book as well. It used to be my second least favorite, now it's my fourth, thanks to Chicken and Night of the Squawker. Ugh, fuck those books. I just pull it up real quick. Night of the Squawker, it has a little bit of the same problem. Sometimes the scares are overused, and I feel like there's one every chapter, and it just takes away from the scariness, where they don't appear too often, where they're more spaced out. Which is something I think some of the Slappy books did very well. For example, Slappy New Year, I think that one did exceptionally well with that, where there weren't too many, and they went on for a little longer. And they weren't extremely often. That's what most of the Slappy books do. This one, it kind of felt like too happening, like happens all the time, just like with Night of the Squawker a little bit. I mean, you already know what shit happens in the book, and honestly, it has a similar problem to that book, and a lot of other books too, which is something that I am never too happy when happens in Goosebumps books, or any video games or something, but, because it kind of takes away from the scary factor. But overall, that does not take away too much from the book, because the scary stuff that did happen was exceptionally well done, as I previously said. It was a little too reoccurring, in my opinion. Another minor nitpick is I think the twist could have been a little better, but it was overall fine, and that's just a nitpick. It didn't really bother me too much. Yeah, let me just go ahead and reread the twist real quick. Might have had a change of heart. Yeah, it was okay. It's not exactly more of a twist, but it still happens, and it was pretty cool. Sorry for the little pause. I'll definitely cut that out. Yeah, overall, the book was pretty good. And those downsides really didn't do much to the book overall. So now, overrated? Hooray! What the fuck? I gave it a 9 out of 10. Pretty good book. And, it wasn't too terrible. If I were to give it any lower, it would be an 8.5. So, actually, I'll just move it down to the 8.5. Can't overrate this book too much, because it wasn't a masterpiece by any means. It was pretty good. 8 out of 10. I enjoyed this book. When I first read it, it was pretty awesome. Not to mention I have like 1,000 copies of the new one, but this is my only copy of the old one. And I have a sticker. Which really pisses me off. Hooray! I'm so happy about that. Oh, Slappy's Nightmare, the best book ever made. I might do a remake of that eventually. Yeah, so my fat ass has to drink a little bit of water because I still very hot from filming. As I previously said, do not go check the new post. It has absolutely nothing to do with what I have been doing. What I've been slowly filming over the past, I don't know, ever since April started. Stay tuned for, next week. Because I want to point out, there's gonna be some awesome shit going on next week, because next week is Monster Blood Week. Official now. It's not gonna be recurring, I think. But yeah, next week is Monster Blood Week. I'm going to review the whole Monster Blood saga. All of them. If you want to call it that. I don't know what's the correct term. Yeah, every Monster Blood book is going to get reviewed next week. That means 6 videos total next week. If we're not including the episode book, which I'm not doing yet because, this one's presents will be a little later. I'm thinking to do that early next year when I get more of them, because so far I don't have very many. They're very hard to come across. But, yeah, stay tuned for next week. There might be 7, you never know. Might be 7 videos, but one of them will not be a book review. If so, and it will be still Monster Blood related video, because it's Monster Blood Week. I'm not going to break it up on the last day. And the last day I will do a post, saying, oh, it's a pretty good week, you know. If you're a Monster Blood fan, be excited. Quick shout out to Red Wonder 8, Red space Wonder 8, no space between Wonder and 8. It's so, pretty good channel. They have some amazing, videos, so I do highly recommend them. Very high quality. I was surprised when I first logged on to one of the videos. I'm like, oh, wow. Jeez. Okay, very high quality, very nice sounding. Very good mic quality, which I still want a mic, but we'll see. Anyways, goodbye.